One of the things that we can start with is that multi-tenant gives you options of how and how many databases you're going to upgrade at once. We can upgrade a container database with all of its pluggable databases with one command. That's your manage many as one, where you get the economies of scale in database management. But you also get the flexibility of being able to unplug and plug and upgrade individual pluggable databases. So let's talk about how that works, use cases for both. For the everything at once option, what we're going to do is we're going to upgrade that entire container database, the CDB root, the PDB seed, and all the application PDBs with one command. Now, when you do this, you'll start with a number of processes assigned to this, and the minimum will be 4. The maximum is limited only by your hardware, because we will default to CPU count for the number of processes used to upgrade that container database. If you're using the DB upgrade command, for example, at the command line, the default would be -N4 for the number of SQL processes used to upgrade your database. Within that, each pluggable database gets, by default, 2 parallel processes to upgrade within that individual container. So what this means is that if you say DB upgrade -N2, capital N is used for the number of parallel threads for each individual pluggable database. So the two capital N and little n play together to tell you how many pluggable databases will be upgraded simultaneously in your environment. You take the total number of processes divided by the number of processes per PDB. That's the number of containers we will upgrade in parallel. So let's look at a concrete example here. Let's say you use the defaults, which is DB upgrade -N4 -N2. What will happen is that we will first upgrade the CDB root with 4 parallel processes. That's your -n. And then when we get to the PDB seed and PDB1, what we will do is we'll do those 2 in parallel, each with 2 processes. So we're still using the 4 total, but we spread them over 2 containers. Then as each individual PDB finishes, the next one will start up. So even though conceptually we would think about this as upgrading batches of 2 PDBs at a time, it doesn't quite happen that way because we try to be more efficient. We don't want to wait, like say PDB5 here took a lot longer to upgrade than PDB4 due to the nature of its dictionary, the components installed, or what have you. Then PDB6 would still start up as soon as PDB4 was finished. So that's how it works when you're upgrading everything at once. And as you can see, you can scale your performance by devoting more hardware to it. The more CPU cores and memory available, the more we can do in parallel. And in fact, in our testing, we regularly test upgrading 252 PDBs on, say, a 64 CPU system where we're doing 32 PDBs at a time in parallel. So that's one option, and the everything at once option is really nice because it's convenient. You can upgrade all of your PDBs with just one command at the command line. But there might be times when you want to unplug and plug individual pluggable databases. Why would you want to do that? Well, maybe you've got one database that is ready to move up, and the rest of the databases aren't ready for the new database version yet. Maybe they've got application dependencies, or you just don't get downtime at the same time for every application that uses that container. What you would do in that case is you would start with a CDB that's at the higher release already, fully patched, fully up and running. Then from your source database, we would unplug, plug into the target database, and then run your PDB upgrade in that target environment. The nice thing about doing it this way is that unplug and plug is always faster than upgrading the same database as a non-CDB, upgrading the entire thing in a single tenant environment, or upgrading in a multi-tenant environment. So why is that? Well, it's faster than a non-CDB because so much of the infrastructure is already there in the container database. So upgrading a pluggable database is lighter weight than upgrading the same thing as a non-CDB. For the single tenant and the all-at-once multi-tenant cases, the simple answer is, in this case with unplug and plug, we're not spending the extra downtime to upgrade the CDB root or the PDB seed. So unplug and plug, especially if you can reuse data files, or use the hot cloning functionality of multi-tenant will make your upgrades faster.